Alright, League Overexplained. Let's go, guys. Let's go. So I'm going to hover Alistair. That is my goal. This is the champion I'm going to try to get. If we don't get Alistair, I will probably default to either Pantheon or Leona. One of those two champs. Alright, so I always like to ban Katarina. I think it's just a very solid ban, but ban what you like here. Ban what you feel is you struggle against. And let's do it. How come I am an Ali enthusiast now? What happened to the Thresh lover I know? I love Thresh, but Thresh unfortunately takes a lot of mechanical skill the higher up you go. And some days, some days you just want to smash the ground, you know? Okay, so we have a Shen top, and they have Fiddlesticks. Alistair's pretty good against Fiddlesticks because I can knock him out of his ultimate. Pretty nice. We have a Rengar Shen combo. And they insta-locked Seraphine. Okay, so it's not Seraphine support, it's Thresh support. So in this situation, I have a choice, but like I said, I'm going to choose between Alistair, Leona, and Pantheon to try and carry these games. I personally think Pantheon is not that good against Seraphine and Fiddlesticks because I have to go in, and those champions are excellent at silencing me, shutting me down. Alistair's okay versus them, so I'm going to go Alistair. Okay, we have a Jhin, which is fine. He's a pretty solid AD carry, pretty strong on this patch. The main reason I want to pick Alistair is because he's got very little kind of crazy mechanics that you need to learn. You basically just learn his combo, you learn when you can roam, and then you're done. That's it. You've understood the champion. There are a few small interesting mechanics you can do with him, but it's nothing crazy like, you know, a Thresh or he's not like mechanically demanding like a Thresh or a Pike or something like that. Ali versus Thresh, a bit risky for Ali. In lane, this matchup, you do have to be a little bit careful. But the reason you pick Alistair, number one, is not for lane. You don't pick Alistair and think, I'm going to win lane. So on Alistair, I really recommend running... I'll go through the runes as I do them. I just don't want to forget about the loading time. So on Alistair, you have two choices. You can either go Aftershock, or you can go Phase Rush. And in this game, I'm going to show you how to play with Phase Rush. Maybe in another matchup, a harder matchup potentially, I can show you guys how to play Ali with Aftershock. In my opinion, it is more of an all-in lane bully against certain champions, and it's less of a roaming champ. Phase Rush Ali is very good at roaming, and the reason is we take Hex Flash plus this rune. So Hex Flash, after I flash, I get my I get Hex Flash when Flash is on cooldown, and it allows me to flash over walls on a 20-second cooldown, and it's disabled when I'm in combat, but you'll see that in game. It'll be pretty obvious when I'm in game what that does. And the other rune is Nimbus Cloak, which I will show you once I am in game. But essentially, whenever I use a summoner spell, Nimbus Cloak gives me move speed, quite a lot of move speed for a few seconds. So I can run around very quickly using my flash and my ignite if I choose. And additionally, the reason you take Hex Flash plus Nimbus Cloak is because every time you Hex Flash, you get your Nimbus Cloak move speed. So you guys will see me in game when I use my Hex Flash. It'll give me my Nimbus Cloak move speed, and I will run around like crazy. Is this Raisins in his YouTube training mode? Read the title. We're doing a League Overexplained. I'm trying this new series out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be talking constantly this game, trying to explain why I'm doing things, what I'm doing, when I'm roaming, why I'm pushing the wave, why I'm placing my wards where, all of this kind of stuff. And hopefully I don't short circuit my brain. I don't know if I can do multiple games of this in a row. I might need to take like a 5-minute break, a 10-minute break in between games, but we'll give it a shot. I've also got like 3 separate drinks, guys. I have hot chocolate, I have water, and the almighty orange juice. We have 3 drinks to keep my voice going, okay? So yeah, that's the reason I took those runes. Phase Rush as well. Once you hit 3 spells or attacks, separate spells or attacks on a champion with Phase Rush, you get a massive move speed and slow resistance. All these kind of things you can look up in the client, very straightforward stuff, but if you have any questions, I can always answer them. But Phase Rush Ali, the reason Phase Rush Ali is so dominant is because he can... Well, you know what? Instead of me talking about why he's dominant, why don't I just show you why he's dominant? You can really dominate the map just by running around and being incredibly annoying. Now this game is going to be a little awkward in team fights because they have a tremendous amount of backline CC, and they have an Ezreal and a Thresh Lantern. They also have Seraphine who can ult me. They have Fiddlesticks who can fear me and silence me. They have a lot of ways of stopping me from getting nice, clean combos on their backline. So I'm not looking to be the primary engage, okay? I'm not looking to, like, go in immediately unless there's a really, really easy engage that I know I can avoid, like, those situations, right? If my entire team is behind me and Seraphine is in front of me, if I go in, Seraphine will just press R. Her R will go through me, it'll charm me, it'll CC me, and then it'll CC my whole team. So we're going to try not to bait my team into choke points and small enclosed spaces where Fiddlesticks and Seraphine will just one-shot my entire backline. So my goal this game is definitely to try and... Are we late invading? Okay, cool. We're not going to late invade, and I don't really think there's any reason to. And I just need to keep my eye on where Fiddlesticks is going to start. And once I know where Fiddlesticks starts, I know exactly how I'm going to play out the lane. Now this is a... Ezreal Thresh has range advantage level 1 because Thresh is a ranged champion. So I'm going to be careful about where I walk up. My Jhin can hit the wave and damage it much faster than Ezreal can. But that really depends on how aggressive Thresh plays. Like if Thresh is doing stuff like this, he's just going to lose his HP very quickly because he's tanking minions. It's not great for him. And since Thresh is hitting the wave, I am also going to hit the wave. And I'm going to make sure that my Jhin has wave prio. He's also like pushing the wave nicely and landing good Qs. Thresh also doesn't have Aftershock. I'm going to flash on this guy because he trolled. Okay, so the reason this guy can't do that is, as I said, he has Aftershock. That's just illegal gameplay. So he's not allowed to walk up like that if he doesn't have Aftershock. The reason he won the first trade slightly is because he procced his Aftershock with his Flay, and then I couldn't really do anything because Aftershock has a very, very high amount of armor and MR. We don't win the trade. And remember, I'm running Phase Rush, so I'm not actually able to trade Aftershock for Aftershock in this situation. So now we need to get the wave in. Enemy Ezreal is doing some fancy shenanigans. I'm going to back off a little bit here. We could very easily get ganked, but we see Fiddlesticks here, so we should be totally fine to just try and push this wave in. I'm going to stay in the minion wave, and my goal is just not to get hooked, basically. Thresh is still level 1. I just want to get this wave in. And he wastes his hook, so we can just push this wave. I'm going to also put a ward here to see if they come and stop me. Okay, I can Hex Flash here. I think that was not the best decision, but Rengar is on his way. So the reason I think this is like totally fine to do is because Rengar can now get probably 1 kill. Alright, cool. Well, he overextended a little bit for that kill. Okay, he does actually get away. So everybody and their family is now TP'd to bot lane. And as you can see, the reason I think it's totally fine for me to go for that play is because the wave was bouncing from our tower. So if you guys are aware of... This is going to be a very close fight. If you guys are aware, the wave, as you can see, is a... Leave the wave, leave the wave. I'm just pinging them to make sure they leave the wave. Okay, not great. I'm going to give it to Rengar here. I'm also going to block the Q for him. And we're just going to hold this wave. That's it. That's my goal. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to hold the wave. Ezreal is stuck in lane now. We can freeze the wave, and his day has been ruined. We're just going to chill. Hey, don't push, don't push, don't push. Ezreal's going to try and Q this minion. He has vision here. Rengar needs help. Cool. I got Ezreal's E. Now I'm just going to go help Rengar. He has smite, so he should be okay. And actually Thresh dies here as well. I'm just going to cover Rengar as best as I can here. And Rengar gets it because he can go into a bush here. Alright, cool. It doesn't matter if Rengar doesn't get it before he gets it. I can also walk through. Since I have time, Ezreal needs to base. I'm actually just going to walk through here, and I'm going to put a ward directly on Fiddle's Krugs. And the reason I'm putting it on Krugs is because Fiddle really likes doing this camp. His camp is coming up now. He's probably going to be resetting and going bot lane at some point. And once I see him on Krugs, I'll be able to play a little bit safer. And now, as you can see, the wave is pushing out from us. So I have a choice, and I'm just going to hard shove this wave. I might even miss this cannon minion, but it's fine. I just want to get the wave in as fast as possible. Ezreal did manage to get a base off, but look at the CS difference. We're almost double Ezreal's CS right now. Okay, Thresh has no hook, so we're totally fine to just... I can just walk up and hit the wave as I want. Ezreal has no E. We're really safe now. Even if Fiddle ganks, I'm not scared at all. I'm just going to make sure Jhin can get all of these minions. He's going to get it with Q. And what I'm going to do is just take a fast reset. And the reason is I have my Moby boots. That's my big item spike on Alistar. I'm going to get my Mobies, and now we just start playing Alistar how you normally want to play Alistar. You're just going to start running around whenever you can in between the waves and look for picks, look for roams. So a fight just happened mid lane. And as you can see, the wave is actually coming into Jhin, so I don't need to be bot lane. If he does start walking up, I would ping him back. And Seraphine is definitely threatening my mid lane, so I was just going to path over here. I can also contest some vision here. And if I don't see Fiddlesticks, I'm not going to go. If I don't see Fiddlesticks passing over here, I'm not going to fight bot. And I don't, so I'm not going to, because there's no reason to. Unless, like, Fiddlesticks is probably headed to his Krugs. That's what I'd guess. He's doing his raids, he's walking to his Krugs. Again, if Fiddlesticks... Yeah, Fiddlesticks is here. So Fiddle's on Krugs. I'm just going to tell this guy don't push. I really don't want to push this wave, because we have no jungle assistance right now. My ward ended up paying off. Okay, Thresh missed his hook. That was a kind of a pointless hook anyway. Even if he lands that, nothing happens, but... Now we just go into defense mode. This is not my time to make a play. I need to find a better opportunity to run around the map. And Fiddlesticks could very easily just lane gank. He could come here, Thresh could lantern him, they could potentially flash on me. Okay, we see Fiddlesticks there. So I can look to try and go for a fast trade, but it has to be fast. It has to be very quick. Okay, he has no hook now, and they have a big wave, so I'm not going to go. I'm just going to let this wave crash. There's absolutely no reason to take any huge risks. And we're just going to relax. We're just going to relax. Okay, Fiddle showed mid again. Now I can start looking to play more aggro. I'm going to put my ward down. And now I think Ezreal would have liked to have based. Ezreal most likely has based. So we're going to look to push this fast so that he misses as many minions as possible. And what I could do is I could reset. But I don't need to reset. I have 500 gold. Thresh is actually mid lane instead of basing. Alright, he burned Ignite there. So that was kind of my bad. I could have told them that the Thresh might be mid. I expected him to have just based, which is surprising. But what I can do now is play with Rengar. My AD carry doesn't really need me here, and I don't think we have the damage to dive. Oh, that's just Fiddle. It's fine. Okay, I'm just going to flash Ignite to get that kill. Fiddlesticks is mid lane, and he gets a kill onto Rengar. So what I can actually do is just roam straight top lane here. Fiddlesticks has no R, so me and Shen should win this pretty comfortably. This should be a nice easy kill for Shen. And I can take the siege. I'm going to help him push out, and then I'm going to base. As you can see, they can't do anything bot lane. The wave is pushed in, but Fiddle just used our mid lane, right? So it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to help push the wave. I can Q the wave and then back off. And Shen also has R. You got to keep that in mind. So Shen has ulti, so my bot lane is totally safe right now. Okay, Thresh is mid again. That was a good dodge, but I think she still dies. I'm going to buy my Kindle Gem. Shen R's. Okay, Fiddle actually dies as well. This is really, really insane. So this wasn't really a play that I was in control of, so super hard for me to describe how I could have stopped it. But the one thing I could have done was I probably could have been... Ezreal ulted. One thing I could have done was I could have pinged my Orianna that Thresh was there. And I haven't been keeping track of Thresh to the best of my ability this game. And he's actually a good player. You know, he's like roaming mid lane whenever I'm roaming to try and do something in the downtime. But as you can see, Fiddle just died. Thresh just died. So this guy is a dead man walking. He is a bit dead. I'm going to place a ward to see if anybody's coming. Rengar doesn't even need my help. I'm also going to demat this siege. And we can just take plates. So the mid lane play actually results in us shutting down Ezreal, getting plates bot lane. And we're definitely going to be able to roam here. Okay, so Seraphine has no flash as As my support can, I mean, my mid lane has just told me, so I can look for a mid lane roam, but I have to remember that Fiddlesticks was doing Krugs. And I'm not going to roam before I see Fiddle, because Fiddle has ult. I'm just placing some of my vision here before I roam, because I don't think I need to force a 2v2, and Fiddle is missing on the map. He could potentially be doing his rates, because I don't see him bot lane, and after he's done Krugs, he's probably going to go rates. So I'm not going to flip a fight and force on mid lane unless I see Fiddle. But what I am expecting here is Fiddle to probably gank mid lane. Why? Because there's not really any easy lane for Fiddle to gank, and mid lane is pushing right now. So I'm just going to make sure that my mid knows. I'm going to give him some pings. Fiddlesticks shouldn't be bot lane, okay? Fiddlesticks should not be bot lane, because otherwise he'd be sitting bot lane for over a minute. And what I can look to do is try and 2v2 them bot. Okay, this guy is trolling. This guy is not allowed to do that. I'm just going to make sure that I'm actually kind of stuck here. Alright, fine. We take those. We take those every day of the week, my friends. So as you saw, I was just waiting because Thresh had his lantern down, so I couldn't actually leave the area because Ezreal would just take the lantern. So I was just chilling on the lantern, waiting for Ezreal to make a move. Ezreal was stuck between a rock and a cow. And we get the kill. Now that was actually kind of a satisfying play, I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty spicy. 27 Gil, hello. How are you doing, my friend? So as you guys can see, the Shen into Fiddlesticks, sorry, Alistar into Fiddlesticks matchup, not so good for Fiddlesticks. Oh, I inted? Potentially? Yeah. Yeah, I should have probably just queued him. Okay, Thresh flashed, Renekton TP'd, but we're getting mid tower. So what I probably should have done there was died for my Jhin, just walked into melee range with Renekton and tried to queue him. That would probably have been the better play. There was a lot of stuff going on, and I was trying my best to explain why I was using the skills, and I ended up killing my Jhin, unfortunately. So I apologize to Jhin for that. So, as you saw there, Fiddlesticks gets knocked away almost immediately when he starts ulting. I heard the sound effect of him starting to ult, so I just prepared to stand in between him and my Jhin and just knock him away. That was pretty much the only thing I'm gonna... That's probably gonna be my main goal this game, is to just get Fiddlesticks off of my team. Because if he's not on my team, he's not a champion. He's a very weak champion if he's not in the middle of my team with his ult. Okay. So my mid lane is TPing mid. We have mid prio. So what I don't have to do right now is force. There's no reason to force. Drake is in 1 minute. I'm going to make sure my team knows I want to play for that. And as you can see, they just base bot lane, right? Ezreal just backed bot lane. So all we need to do to secure this Drake, we don't need to fight them. We don't need to get any kills. We just push. They're going to have to answer mid, and then they're going to have to answer bot. And I'm going to start clearing some vision while I know Ezreal is base. But this is a little bit of a risky decision. Okay, my Orianna is here now. Placing a ward over to make sure I don't get hooked, because it was a bit of a risky situation. So I need to make sure that we secure this Drake. I put a pink ward in the pit because that's what we want to do. And I'm going to start this scuttle. And then we're going to go back bot lane, because there's another wave bot lane that we need to get. Now, if they walk up too far, we can fight. They don't have Renekton TP. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to stay kind of close here, and I'm going to give Shen an option to go in here. I'm going to queue this guy. Great stuff. And then we have a Jhin ult on the back end to clean this fight up. So this should be Drake for us. That was a good flash. This guy's about to die though. He overextended quite a lot there. Okay, they still have smite because of Fiddle. I can start comboing here. I'm actually just gonna back off. We got the Fiddlesticks flash. We just need to push the wave safely and start this dragon. I have a pink ward on it. They shouldn't be able to see it. This should be a pretty free dragon. Okay, Shen wants to pull it out, so I'm going to pull the dragon out of the pit. We're doing 2 plays at once, which is something I would not recommend. I think this is a very kind of easy way of losing the bot lane fight and the Drake fight, but enemy team backed off, so it's not that bad. Okay, cool. So that fight was a bit messy, and as you can see, everybody joined it. It was a 5 versus 5 in the bot lane, but the main thing I was doing there was just following up on Jhin, and we had Orianna right behind us. So as you guys saw, the Seraphine was really late to that fight. The reason that fight was so easy for me to start was because we had mid prio, and I saw my Orianna sitting in river, so I knew she was right behind me. So even if I don't start the fight perfectly, I'm going to have some space to fight. And from this point onwards, like, Jhin should be mid lane, and the reason Jhin should be mid lane is because he can't safely be bot lane because Fiddlesticks and Renekton could kill him, most likely. And okay, I'm gonna sweep here because I believe Thresh just came from here. And if Thresh, I'm just gonna pink this. And I also have Locket just in case. I'm gonna pop it just to be safe. Fiddlesticks is also dead here. Yeah, so as you guys saw, I can just pink Thresh's lantern. And what that does is it actually prevents anybody from right-clicking Thresh's lantern. This guy's up shit creek, I'm afraid. You're dead. He doesn't have flash, so my team recognizes that and punishes him. My team is playing very cleanly this game. I'm very happy with them. So yeah, pinking Thresh's lantern prevents anybody from clicking on it. I'm gonna go on this guy because my Jhin has a bunch of ways of following up. I would not normally go on that person unless my AD carry or my mid could follow up safely. But since my AD carry and mid can follow up, I'm gonna go on. Okay, now they have no Renekton TP and Fiddlesticks could ulti from somewhere. So I have to be a bit careful here. But what I can do is if Fiddlesticks is R'ing, I can just knock him away. And as you can see, even though he had a relatively nice angle to R, he can't R because I'm Alistar and I'm a fucking cow. Yeah, that was a bit of a risky combo, but the reason I can do that is because I have phase Russian. But I had to burn my R just in case. I didn't want Thresh to actually hook me. But my AD carrier is going for a risky wave, and they actually were looking like they could potentially go on him. He has a big shutdown. I don't want to give up that shutdown for free, so, you know, I'll take the... I'll commit my resources so that my AD carry doesn't die if he has a shutdown like that any day of the week. And again, the next fight, my goal is either I'm going to try and one-shot somebody before the fight even starts. That's like the perfect scenario. Or I'm just going to focus on knocking Fiddlesticks out as fast as possible. This guy's trying to poke me under tower. So I'm just catching mid-wave, and I'm not going to rush anything. We have pretty solid vision right now. I'm not going to rush to make any plays. What I'm going to play for is either Herald or Drake, depending on what my jungler does here. Okay, now that my AD carry has forced Ezreal E, I'm going to start walking around in the jungle. And now that I've noticed that there's very, like, kind of bad vision for enemy, we can probably just take this Herald. Because we just pushed in mid-wave. I can also place a deep ward here because me and my jungle time. And if you guys saw... Alright, I had to die for Rengar, but I believe we're going to win this fight. Yeah. Rengar still probably wins this fight, but he's going to die on the back end. Alright, cool. Fiddlesticks flash. Yeah, we're going to win this fight pretty hard. Okay, maybe we're not going to win this fight. Renekton was pretty big in this fight. Unfortunately, I didn't have flash for that. So the reason I think that was it looked better than it was because we started the fight here when we had our whole team ready to follow up. The only issue is I did not have ulti. So I was trying to bet on the fact that Shen R would keep me alive long enough that he would arrive in the fight. Yeah, and Orianna's R didn't really hit anybody except Seraphine, and Seraphine is 0 and 5 or 0 and 4 at the time. So it was a bit unfortunate we win that, but I mean, I took a big risk fighting there because, like I said, I didn't have my ulti. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to focus on dealing with Renekton because he's the strongest member of their team. Ezreal's also relatively strong, but we have a very good team to control Ezreal. So I'm going to try and clear some vision before Dragon, I'm going to take control over this side of the map. Again, they can't really do anything to me, so I'm not going to bother like wasting my cooldowns. In that situation, I was pretty fine. And we just secure a free dragon here. And then someone is going to have to catch bot wave. So again, I'm not going to overforce. I also am running out of wards, so I need to look for a time to recall. Yeah, they could be on it. Fiddlesticks Ezreal definitely could be on it. Okay, we see Fiddlesticks, they're not on it. So what I can actually do then is just take a fast reset. And I'm going to move into Baron area. I'm going to move into Baron area when I actually have Rengar nearby. And then I'm going to start placing vision. So there's two people on their team I'm going to keep my eye on, Ezreal and Renekton. If I can keep check of Ezreal Renekton, I think I'm fine. Fiddlesticks is not very fed right now. My carries are very long range. It's hard for Fiddle to get on them. And me and Rengar can probably demolish Ezreal before he can be any real nuisance right now. I'm going to continue sweeping here. I'm also going to pink inside pit. And then I'm just going to get some shallow vision here as best I can. Try and make sure that my team knows roughly where Fiddlesticks is if he tries to ult. What? Yeah, okay, he was just pinging Herald. I was super confused. Okay, so we see where Fiddle is. But Fiddlesticks has cleared my... I'm going to pink this bush. This is warded. This guy's doing some... Okay, we don't have to go here. We don't have to go here. They have to face check us. We don't have to run into them. Just keep mid prio. Orianna is here. Okay, this guy really should not be allowed to do that. That's incredibly illegal gameplay, so we punish him. Call the police. We fucking rule. That is super giga illegal gameplay. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. So the worst case scenario there, guys, after he E's is... I'm sorry, what did I just see? Okay, so I knock Fiddlesticks out of my team. Renekton is still probably going to absolutely destroy my Orianna. But I got Fiddlesticks out of the team, and that's the important thing. Ooh. Wow. And Rengar is also, you know, kind of playing quite well. Very good. Very well played. So... it kind of sucks that Alistar... this is going to happen a lot when you play these champions. The champions I'm using in this series, Alistar, Pantheon, Leona, once you go in and blow your load, a lot of the time you're going to die on the back end. But if you do your job properly, you're probably going to win the fights. As you can see, I'm soaking a lot of cooldowns and I'm disrupting the opponents as best I can and choosing the biggest abilities that the opponents have and trying to deny them. So in that fight, it's always Fiddle R, right? It's always Fiddlesticks R. If I die for it, it's not the end of the world. If I stop Fiddle from being useful, then my Jhin, my Orianna, they're going to be happy. They're going to be chilling. Okay, this Ezreal has no flash. Okay, he knows I'm here. So the enemy has summoned Rift Herald mid lane, so I would like to defend against that. Avoid any shenanigans with like somebody getting caught in side lane. We do have Baron, so I just want to defend against this Herald. And I can face tank the Herald and stop it from getting the tower. And then once we group, that's when our team comp is strong. And the reason we're strong is, as you guys imagine, we have a Jhin, we have an Orianna. There's no reason for me to force unless we're grouped in this game. Rengar is also a champion who's about to get a pick. He's about to one-shot somebody. Well, I mean... not like this. So Rengar is playing like an absolute psycho. Okay, Renekton is in the backline. I have to deal with Renekton. This is not a good fight. Not a good fight at all. Okay. Rengar definitely needs to chill out a little bit. He needs to stop going for these crazy fights because we can't really follow up super well. I'm just going to ask him to play with me. And then we just focus on Dragon, focus on what we can actually fight. Whoops, I can't type. So, I mean, he's a Rengar player. This is quite common, especially in low elo. Like in the elo I'm at, this guy, he gets fed. He thinks he needs to 1v5 and go in. We have a Jhin and a Orianna with a Shen ult to prevent them from dying. We really do not need to go in. Oh my goodness. Okay. I might be able to catch this guy. Okay, well, we just won a 4v5. I think I can catch this guy. Cool. I still had Locket on the back end of that. Okay, sorry that I wasn't talking there, guys. There's a lot to go over in some of these fights, and it is kind of hard to keep up, because this Jhin got caught at the beginning of the fight. I was literally just about to say, okay, I'm looking to give up Dragon here, because I don't need to... we don't need to lose the game over second Drake, okay? I was about to say that. But then what happened was me and Orianna were standing in a choke point where they had no vision of us, and 3 people walked into my face. So this is not something that I would classify as like a macro decision. This is more like knowing your champion's limits and your team's champions, what they can do and what they can't do. My Jhin and my Rengar are currently doing their best to try to lose the game. So this is kind of a great game to explain how to prevent your team from tilting, because the Rengar and the Jhin are finding every single possible situation where they can get caught instead of staying as a group in a game where we have an Orianna, and Orianna can just one-shot anybody on the enemy team if she has a good ult. So we need to just play together. That's the main thing we're going to try and focus on doing. I'm going to try and make sure that wherever I think Fiddle could R, I want to avoid... I want to make sure that I have clear understanding of cool. I'm just going to stun Renekton there. Man, so these fights are actually way closer than they kind of should be. But again, we get to 3 for 0 there because Rengar is very fed, and if I follow up onto the Thresh, then there's really not much Thresh can do. So, Crucible, Toby actually asked me, why would you pick Alistar into Thresh? Isn't it a bad matchup? In lane, I would agree. In lane, I would actually say it's a... If Ori puts the ball on me, I'm going to go here. Okay, she clicked the wrong target. So the reason I go there is because if Renekton is dead, then we're just going to win the game off of this push, potentially. Okay, it's actually probably not safe to win the game here. I have to body block for this guy. Jeez Louise, bro. Okay, Jhin walked up at the end there, took a flay to the face, and nearly died again. These guys are really choosing the weirdest times to go aggro. And it is showing. It is very scary watching this Jhin walk up with no support into a tower. So what the enemy team has now is they have time. Like, we need to base, we need to go back. They have time to get vision down, so I need to make sure that my team doesn't get caught on the back end. And honestly, guys, this is probably the #1 way I see low elo players lose games, is they'd get something good, especially inhibs. They overstay, like this Rengar taking blue or something, or the Jhin potentially walking up, and then they die. And then they just lose so much more. So what you need to realize is sometimes just take what you can get. You don't need to win the game in the first push, you know? If you think you can, sometimes it's alright to try, and, you know, it might go badly, and it is what it is. But you don't need to, like, you know, climb... Daniel Naroditsky, favorite chess YouTuber right now, says not every single one of your pieces has to be climbing Mount Everest. Cool. Thresh is dead here. I'm just gonna pop Locket there, and the reason I can do that is because, again, we're very far ahead. So this is kind of... I'm actually gonna back off from these guys because they can kill me. I was just keeping them busy. All right, we should be able to end off of this wave. We have a super minion wave coming. Ooh, very nice. Beautiful stuff. If you play with your jungler and your mid when they're really fed, this stuff is gonna happen. Notice I wasn't going towards Shen's side of the map. I was focusing as much as I could on collapsing wherever Orianna and Rengar are. I didn't solo carry this game. I think Orianna played really solid this game. So if I was to say this was like me smurfing, I'd say Orianna was also smurfing. Now, I didn't really go over every single topic I could because talking while playing League is a bit of a challenge and there's a lot to talk about. So if you guys have questions about why I did stuff, you know, feel free to ask. But it was a pretty solid first game. What do you guys think in chat? What do you guys think? I'm gonna give the honor to Ori. Hello, Jack. How are you doing? How are you doing, my friend? How are you doing? Hope you guys enjoyed that. So this was the trial run, guys. This is the trial run. If you guys enjoyed it, tell me. Because if you didn't enjoy it, also tell me. I will tweak it as it goes, you know? This was the League Overexplained run, guys. I'm trying to talk about what I'm doing, where I'm doing, and how I'm doing it as much as physically possible in game. 10 out of 10.